Well, it's Charles William Innocenti IV. Will and I met in college. We were actually both in ROTC, and we met at a birthday party for one of his friends. I was invited to a birthday party. It was a couple of upperclassmen, so I was, freshman, excited, thinking, oh, I'm actually making friends this soon. And a couple days later, he actually asked me out, and we started dating. And I think it was 2 months into it, we were talking about marriage. And what was funny is, all through grade school and high school and even coming into college, my mom kind of had the idea that I was never going to get married. I didn't want to have a family. I kept telling him, I don't want kids. Never want kids. I don't want to get married. I'm going to be married to my job. And 2 months into the relationship, because I had told Will I wasn't interested in that because he's a big family-oriented guy. And so I told him, I was like, you're wasting your time with me because that's not my thing. And 2 months into dating, I knew I was going to marry him. We had our ceremony at a chapel in Georgetown, old Georgetown. It was a cute little chapel, like 1800 built. It has a lot of history to it, and my husband's a history major, so he liked that. And then the reception was actually at, I used to work at what's called Reunion Grill. It was kind of like an entertainment center type place, so they had really nice setup for large parties. And then we had our honeymoon on 6th Street he was only there for a couple of days. We would just stay at a hotel on 6th Street, and then we were on 6th Street until we celebrated the New Year's. So, and then after that, he had to go back to AIT. The first deployment was hard. You can read up a lot, and people can tell you a lot, but there's a complete difference between what you read and how you experience it. We were just married, and going through all of your firsts, your first Christmas, your first anniversary, your first New Year as a married couple, and him not here, that was pretty hard. Because he wouldn't call sometimes, and I was constantly messaging him, and it kind of got irritating a little bit. I'm like, why don't you call me? And I didn't think about it. He has to focus on his job, and it's hard when he makes that call he's talking with me, and then he's got to go back into soldier. So I understood after he got home. He explained that, and he's like, it's just, when I'm there, I have to focus, and it's hard because when I talk to you, I realize I'm missing something. So we announced the pregnancy on Father's Day of 2014. Gave my dad a card and said, "Happy Father's Day, Grandpa." And Will called his dad and told his family, and of course we made it Facebook official that same day. A couple of weeks later, we went to our first appointment, where we were supposed to hear the heartbeat, and unfortunately, we didn't get to hear a heartbeat. The baby hadn't made it. I was 8 weeks along, but it was our 10-week appointment, so it had been a while. I ended up having surgery the next day. That was really hard on us. I don't think my husband really expressed it too much. He kind of kept it bottled in. I know he was doing it for me. He was trying to be strong for me because obviously it was my body going through it, but it was both of us going through it. And so it was hard on me, not just losing the baby, but not seeing a reaction from him. You don't really ever get over it, but after I was ready to start again, he was a little hesitant. He kept telling me he wanted to wait, that he didn't want to rush into things. And I told him, if it's not ready, if my body's not ready, it's not ready. And so we decided rather than to try, we just weren't going to do anything. And if we got pregnant, we got pregnant. But we both decided that there was a date, that if by then I wasn't pregnant, we'd have to stop trying. And because it would be 9 months before he'd have to go to Korea, and he knew he wouldn't be here for the baby. He left for gunnery, and a couple days into him being gone, I realized I was late. I was like, okay, I'll wait another day goes by and still nothing. So I knew it was gonna be about a week and a half before I saw my husband. I was like, well, I can't take a test, because if it's positive, I'm gonna be here alone. I'm not gonna be able to tell anyone, obviously, until my husband's home. And of course, I couldn't wait. So I went and took a test, and sure enough, I was pregnant. And I'm sitting there in the bathroom thinking, I've got a week and a half before my husband's home. How am I gonna keep this a secret? I tell my mom everything. So I was like, I'm gonna have to not talk to her because it's gonna come out. I'm gonna slip it out. So I decided I'm gonna just try to be recluse And not 30 minutes later, there was a knock at the door, and I went and opened it, and my husband was standing there. They had given him the day off because it had rained so bad, and they sent him home to go shower up. And I just busted out in tears, and he just looked at me like I was crazy, and I just yelled, "I'm pregnant!" And he didn't even come through the door. I just jumped into his arms. I was so excited. I was excited, so was my husband, but I think we were both very reserved in our excitement because we didn't announce it to anybody. We weren't ready to announce it until we heard that heartbeat. And on Halloween, we did. We heard her heartbeat. Of course, I broke down in tears. My husband will deny it, but I'm pretty sure he got teary-eyed too, but we were both so excited, and I think we scared the nurse a little bit because we were just like, she's like, okay, yeah, that's normal. Like, we want that. And I'm like, I know, but when she was rubbing over my belly and she was just kind of taking her time, not like on purpose or anything, but you know, she's sitting there trying to find the heartbeat, and I'm freaking out like, oh my God, I can't find it. And then she finally found it, and I was like shaking. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. But yeah, Halloween, we heard her heartbeat, but it wasn't until we found out we were having a girl where I think it hit both of us, like, we're having a girl. It's not just baby anymore, it's a girl. Everything was just amazing. I mean, obviously I'm the one feeling it, I'm the one experiencing it. I didn't really have morning sickness too much. The day I went in to have Evelyn was the day Will deployed. He left, I think like 4 or 5 a.m. His friend came, picked him up, and he left, and then I got ready to go to the hospital. I got to the hospital about 3 p.m. because they said they were full. Their beds were full. And I said, I don't care. I'm supposed to be there yesterday, so find me a bed. I wasn't really technically induced until about 8. And I tried to do it natural. It was really hard. About maybe 25 hours into it or so, I finally settled for an epidural. But I think it was more of a mental thing, because you know, my husband had just left, and Will called when he was in Alaska, and I was going through some contractions, and I hear him on the phone with my sister answered the phone, and I hear him on speakerphone going, "Tell her I love her, I gotta get on the plane, I'll talk to y'all when I get to Korea, bye." So I went in full panic mode, and I was like, just give me the epidural, I don't even care anymore. And so finally got the epidural, and I had her at 12:58 on June 19th, finally, and Will was just landing in Korea, so he wasn't able to be, you know, even on the phone really until about 6. Will met his daughter for the first time on Facebook video chat. We called him, it's kind of similar to Skype. We called him and, you know, took the phone, showed him what she looks like, and he wasn't able to talk for too long, but that's how he met his daughter, was through the phone. Evelyn, say Happy New Year, Daddy. Oh my goodness, you calling him on your phone? It hurt, you know, him not being there, but at that point, everything kind of, at first it was, why isn't he here for me? Then it was, why isn't he here for her? And then it was, I need to focus on her. And so after I had her, it was easier, you know, after she was out and I could see her, it was easier to focus on just us rather than Daddy not being home. Every first was when it would kind of hit. Christmas was when it would hit. Will has missed a lot of milestones, unfortunately. Lucky we have Facebook and we have Messenger, and he's able to, I send him pictures all the time, videos all the time. We're able to chat as often as we can. He actually got to see her crawl for the first time. He got to see her roll over for the first time live. I was able to actually I was chatting with him, and she was sitting there and just rolled over. I was like, that's the first time, you know, you got to see that. And so that was really nice for both of us. I was so happy. I know I cried. He made fun of me a little bit. He was just like, are you really crying right now? I'm like, well, you don't understand. Like, I was really worried everything was gonna be missed. The hard part is Daddy won't ever be able to get those memories back. I'm lucky enough, I'm here. I couldn't imagine Putting myself in his shoes is easier than him putting himself in mine. He's not here, he doesn't know, but if I was away from her, being with her how I am now, I don't know how he does it. So it's hard. Christmas Day was interesting. So opening the presents, you know, in the moment when you've got your family around you and Daddy's on the phone and we're opening the presents and you're excited because she's excited, it wasn't until we were done opening presents and then I went into the bedroom to, talk with my husband and talk with Will with Evelyn, and that's when it hit me and I started crying, of course, because I'm sad. And I was sad because this is, again, just another first that he's not here for. Christmas was hard, Thanksgiving was hard. All the holidays, that's when it hits you. Whether you have a kid or not, deployments, that's when it hits you the hardest, is during the holidays. And I always say it's the holidays and when it hits 5 o'clock. When 5 o'clock hits and you look at the door and no one's coming in and it's like, okay, dinner time, just me and Evelyn.